Two houses can be the same size, same price, even the same builder. But if one's near the beach and the other's inland, your monthly costs can be totally different. Insurance usually jumps up near the coast. Flood zones come into play, and sometimes the home is older, which can mean more upkeep. But then inland, you might get more house for the money, lower risk, and a newer community, but you're a longer drive to the water. So yeah, it's not just about picking a neighborhood that looks nice. There's a lot under the surface that affects your budget, your routine, and your lifestyle. That's what I'm going to walk you through today, what really changes when you live near the beach versus inland here in St. Johns County. If we haven't met yet, I'm Josh Rogers. I've been a full-time real estate agent here in St. Johns County for the past 15 years. I lead the F3 home team, and over the years, we've helped hundreds of families move here, whether they were coming from across the country, across the state, or just across the bridge. And what we love most is helping people find not just a house, but a lifestyle that actually works for them. Because when you're moving your whole life, your kids, your job, your routine, it's a big deal. And most times it just starts with a simple text. So if you're even starting to think about making the move, shoot me a quick message. I'd love to hear what you're looking for and see how we can help. So let's talk about what living near the beach actually looks like in St. Johns County. You've got places like Ponte Vedra Beach, parts of Nocatee, and St. Augustine Beach that offer that coastal living feel. Now, in most cases, you're not literally on the sand, but you might be 5 to 15 minutes away, and that opens up a certain kind of lifestyle. You're close to beach access, obviously, but also near unique local restaurants, live music, boutique shops, and that breezy vacation town vibe. There's a lot of charm. The neighborhoods tend to be more established, and if you're into walking or biking to the water, there are pockets where that's doable. But living near the coast also comes with a few things to be aware of. Home insurance can be more expensive the closer you are to the water, especially if you're in a flood zone. Some homes near the beach are older, and while they have character, they might need updates or more maintenance. And if you're looking for newer construction, your options can be limited unless you're in specific neighborhoods like coastal parts of Nocatee or Volano Beach. All right, now let's move inland and talk about what that looks like day to day. Living inland in St. Johns County often means you're in master-planned communities like Rivertown, Silverleaf, Shearwater, Beacon Lake, or Durbin Crossing. You're about 25 to 35 minutes from the beach depending on traffic. But you tend to get more house for your money. We're talking newer builds, bigger square footage, larger lots, and often more community amenities like pools, fitness centers, playgrounds, and even kayak launches. And because you're further from the coastline, your flood risk is generally lower. That can mean lower insurance rates and sometimes less red tape if you're building or renovating. Plus, inland communities tend to have newer infrastructure, better roads, brand new schools, and things like fiber internet that are already built in. You're also closer to shopping centers, hospitals, and commuter routes like Interstate 95 or State Road 9B, which makes it easy if you're working in Jacksonville or traveling frequently. But of course, living inland means you're giving up the quick beach access. So if you're someone who wants to go for a sunrise walk on the sand or let the kids surf after school, that'll take a little more planning. And since we're talking about how this all plays out in real life, let's tie it back to lifestyle and schools. Schools are a huge factor for families moving here, and honestly, you're in great shape either way. St. Johns County has some of the top-rated public schools in the entire state. If you're closer to the beach, you may be looking at schools like Ponte Vedra High or Ocean Palms Elementary, which are fantastic. Inland, you've got top schools in places like Bartram Trail, Tocoy Creek, and Nice High. So you're not sacrificing education either way, but the school zones do vary neighborhood to neighborhood, so that's something I always help families navigate. Now, in terms of lifestyle, this really comes down to what fills your tank. Do you want to spend weekends paddleboarding on a lake in your neighborhood, grilling at the amenity center, and walking to school? Or do you picture yourself biking to a beachside coffee shop, catching live music downtown, and spending afternoons on the sand? One isn't better than the other. It's just different flavors of Florida life. And if you're still not sure what fits your vibe best, that's where our community of real residents can really help. I've got a private Facebook group called Moving to St. Johns County, and it's full of families who are either already living here or planning their move right now. It's a great place to ask questions, compare experiences, and get honest feedback from people who are in the same boat. So if you want to see what daily life is actually like, whether that's by the beach or further inland, jump in and introduce yourself. I'll drop the link in the description box below so you can join. Now let's wrap up with what I tell my clients when they're choosing between these two options. The truth is, there's no right answer to the beach versus inland question. It depends on your priorities, your budget, and how you want to live day to day. If you've got a flexible schedule and you love that beach town energy, being closer to the coast might make every day feel like vacation. But if you want newer construction, big community perks, and easier access to schools and highways, inland might feel more convenient and practical. And here's what I've seen after helping hundreds of families make this move. What matters most is not just what looks good online, but what feels good in person. Because sometimes people come down here thinking they want the beach, and after driving around, they fall in love with a newer neighborhood a little further inland. Other times, people think they want the biggest house for their budget, but once they step into that salt air, they know they want to be closer to the coast, even if it means sacrificing some square footage. It's all about fit. And you don't have to figure it out all alone. So if you're seriously thinking about making the move to St. Johns County, and you're torn between beachside or inland living, just send me a quick text. Tell me what you're hoping for, what stage you're in, and what matters most to your family. I'll help you break it down, make sense of it all, and find the spot that fits your needs and lifestyle. Thanks for spending this time with me today. I hope this helped bring you some clarity, and I'll see you in the next video.